What is going on, everybody? Tyler Brandt back here with another video, and we are going to continue our schedule talk that we had earlier this week. We're going to have another schedule video. This one's going to be a little bit more fun. As you know, New England has the toughest schedule in the NFL. We went over it earlier this week. We know who they play. We know they travel a lot. But now, like I said, we're going to have a little bit of fun. We're going to do the top five. The top five games you cannot miss if you're a Patriot fan. You got to watch these games. You got to buckle up, tune in. I think these are all going to be great games. And you may not agree with me on this top five list. We may not agree 5 for 5. You may only agree with a couple. But make sure you leave a comment below and tell me what you think. You think it's a good list? You think it's a crap list? What games are you looking forward to? But without any further ado, let's get into it. The top 5 games that New England's going to play this season that you cannot miss. Let's go. All right, so number 5 on this list is the Miami Dolphins Week 1 versus Miami. 1 o'clock game. This is opening day in the NFL, opening Sunday in the NFL. And normally, you know, the Patriots bully the Dolphins, but coming into this season, everything has changed. The reason why I'm looking forward to this game is as long as everything is on track, I personally believe that Tua Tagovailoa is going to start for the Miami Dolphins. So this will be a great benchmark for New England to see where they stack up with a team that's very talented. I think the defense for Miami should be very good. They were good last year without, you know, a lot of key names. They traded off a bunch of guys, and they still performed well. So I think Brian Flores has coached those guys up well. So I think it'll be a good benchmark for Stidham and the offense to see just what this offense is going to look like. On the other side, I think if Tua is right early and he's on, he's going to be very, very good. And I think Miami could potentially win that division. However, we have to see if he's going to start and how well he's going to be if he does start. So I think it'll be also a good benchmark for the defense. You know, if Tua's the guy and he's going to be the guy right out of the gate, he's going to have to throw against a pretty good defense. I'm very excited to see the dynamic there. I'm very excited to see Flores and Belichick again head-to-head. So I think if Miami was a little better and we knew they were a little better, I would put them up higher on this list. But we don't know what Miami's going to be, so therefore they're towards the back of this list. This is a 1 o'clock, the home opener and the opening day game around the NFL for New England, the Patriots versus the Dolphins. The number 4 team on the list, the top 5 games that you have to watch if you're a Patriot fan this season, the number 4 team. The number 4 game, we're not going to have to go too far down the schedule. We're going from week 1 against Miami at home to week 2 at Seattle across the country against the Seahawks. First and foremost is the Sunday Night Football game, which is one of the reasons why I'm looking forward to it. And the next reason really is just because whenever Bill Belichick and Pete Carroll get together, they are great games. They really, really are. The Super Bowl was excellent. New England got the better of Seattle, maybe because Marshawn didn't get the ball one more time. But outside of the Super Bowl as well, Pete Carroll has Bill Belichick's number. Both of the last 2 times they met, Seattle won the game. Once in Seattle, once in New England. So it will be a good game for Belichick, for his pride. I think it'll be fun to watch Stidham again go on the road. This is a huge test, huge home field in Seattle. So I think it'll be fun to watch Stidham go on the road with this offense and see what they can do on the road. The environment's always wild. These 2 coaches are great, legendary, Hall of Fame coaches. It's always a classic game. If the offense for New England is rough, which we'll, I guess, find out in these first 2 weeks, it could get a little ugly, but these teams always play classic games. I love it under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football. So my number 4 game is the Seattle Seahawks hosting the New England Patriots. My number 3 game, probably one that you may think should be a little higher, which I could understand, but my number 3 game is going to be Jimmy G's return to Foxborough, and that is Week 7. The New England Patriots host the San Francisco 49ers. I mean, on paper, this game could get ugly. That's the reason why I have it at number 3. I think that, at least defensively, San Francisco should still be an absolute bully. They won the NFC for a reason. They were the best team the entire season last year, and I don't think that really could change very much. They didn't lose anything, really. So I think it could get ugly. That's why it's number 3. But I think the story of Jimmy G coming back to Foxborough, you know Gillette Stadium is going to be rocking. At this point, the Patriots will be coming off of their bye, so they'll have an extra week to prepare. And I think it'll be very interesting to see the dynamic, Jimmy G versus his old team. I think it'll just kind of be fun. Stidham, this would be an elite test for him. If he can have himself a good game, this could be something you put a little momentum on and maybe you go somewhere with it. But I think this game lends itself to be ugly, and I think San Francisco, if you're talking to me today, could win by 2 scores or more. But I think all the storylines of Jimmy G coming back to Gillette, you have to just love that idea, and that stadium is going to be rocking for that game. So my number 3 game is the San Francisco 49ers traveling to New England in Week 7. The penultimate game on this list of must-watch games for Patriot fans, the number 2 game you must watch. I was debating whether to put this game on or to put it towards the back or maybe make it like an honorable mention. But I left this game here because I think it's been a fun rivalry, although it could lend itself to another blowout. But this game, without further ado, is the pretty much annual at this point Kansas City Chiefs versus New England Patriots. In this chapter, New England is going to have to travel to Kansas City. Last season, Kansas City got the best of New England in their only meeting. The Patriots probably should have won that game. They scored 3 times or so, but it kept getting called off. But that's a story for another day. I think this game could be fun. Like San Francisco, I think it could lend itself to a blowout. But I think Bill Belichick is going to have that defense ready to go. I'm very, very excited, really, to see Gilmore and that Patriots secondary versus Pat Mahomes. That's the matchup I want to see. And the Chiefs defense, they are expected maybe to take a step back a little bit. They really didn't round into form until the end of the year last year anyway. So I think that if Stidham and the offense are cooking, they should be able to move the ball on this Kansas City offense, at least enough to put points on the board. Playing in Kansas City's tough, so I could understand if they have a little bit of a struggle with it, especially Stidham's first time under center. And it's very early in the season. I think it's week 3 or week 4, I believe. So it's going to be tough for Stidham. That building, talk about places that are rocking. That place is always rocking. It's going to be rocking there. It's a 4:25 game, so a lot of eyes are going to be on it. But I'm excited to see Gilmore and that defense line up against Pat Mahomes again. They always do a great job. Belichick's always got those defensive guys ready to play. The offense will be the question mark, like it was a lot of last year. But I think it'll be a fun game. So my number 2 game is the annual Chiefs versus Patriots game. This installment coming from Kansas City. So finally, without further ado, the last game on this list, the 5 games you cannot miss if you're a Patriot fan. The last game on this list is a game that hasn't really meant much until last year when this team was competing and very good. And the number 1 game, you're going to think maybe I'm crazy, but it's in the division. It is going to be Week 16, a Monday Night Football. New England hosts the Buffalo Bills. Now, I know it's a division game. Buffalo is a big question mark in terms of their offense. But I think at this point in the season, everybody's record in the AFC East, again in Week 16, this is when this game will be played. Everyone's record in the AFC East, I think, will be around the same. So I think this game could go very far in terms of who wins the division. I think it could determine playoff seeding. So I think this game is going to be huge. Monday Night Football, especially without Booker McFarland. Thank you. Without Booker McFarland.
All these diva wide receivers wanted to go to the bathroom. As a defensive lineman, we didn't go to the bathroom. You sat on the bench, did your business, and you got up.
It's going to be a lot better. It's going to be a ruckus atmosphere at New England under the lights. And at this point, it'll be crunch time. The QB, if it's not Stidham at this point, if he's that bad, and it's Hoyer, it's going to be go time for New England. Every play counts. Every snap counts. Just like the Saturday night game last year, that was a great game that a lot of people, myself included, thought it was the Patriots get-right game. You know, the rest unfolded as it did. This is going to be New England's statement game going into the playoffs if they are a playoff team or if they're a fringe playoff team. So I think this game is going to have, by the time it's played, a lot of narratives going into it. 2 question mark offenses potentially, 2 very good defenses potentially. I think the story writes itself. And I'm excited to see it under the lights with a good commentary crew with no Booger McFarland.
Tell you what, if I'm Sean McDermott at this point, you almost just run a quick ball play, get a few yards, spike it.
But I am very excited. The number 1 game that you can't miss mark your schedule. Week 16, Monday Night Football is the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots. So that is my list, the games you can't miss, like I said. Now, for some honorable mentions, some teams that I debated putting on there were Houston. I know I missed that. They always play New England very well. I know I missed out on Baltimore. I think Baltimore is probably going to bully New England like they did last season. So I didn't put that one up there, even though it is kind of a rivalry for New England too. But those were probably the two games. If there were 7 games that weren't missed, those would probably be the next 2. And the game at Buffalo. But I think that's pretty much, that encompasses the list. It also kind of, along with the games you can't miss because they're big games, these are the games that'll tell you what New England is. Early in the season with Miami and Seattle, is this team somewhat good? Is this team a bad team? And are we tanking for Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields? We're going to find out in those weeks 1 and 2. I have the midseason game against San Francisco. It's an elite team, San Francisco. You'll be able to kind of benchmark yourself with a team that was in the Super Bowl. And I think is kind of wrapping it up with Buffalo on Monday Night Football. If New England's going to be a playoff team, we're going to find out just how good they'll be against the defense like Buffalo. So that's my list. Like I said in the beginning of the video, if you have a different list, if you hate them, if you love them, comment down below. Let me know what you think of the list. Comment, subscribe, get at me on Instagram, get at me on Twitter, @TheTylerBrant. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video.